The media's been saying some pretty negative things about Donald Trump. But what are real Americans saying?
The guy's a winner.
He's authentic.
If you fuck around with us, if you do something bad to us, we are going to do things to you that have never been done before.
So let me ask you, as his attorney in this criminal case, do you want your client to stop speaking publicly like this? Using terms like that.
This case was brought by the Biden administration in the middle of a political campaign, and with the realization that people are out there campaigning for office.
The Trump campaign held a press conference to challenge the election results at Four Seasons Total Landscaping in Northeast Philadelphia. Some people suspect the campaign intended to reserve the Four Seasons Hotel, but accidentally booked this landscaping company, located between a crematorium and a sex toy store. Trump's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, was speaking when he was told the election had been called for Biden.
Actions
Absolutely,
in this indictment,
but you're entitled.
And this is a long list that
Right.
we've compiled from the indictment. I mean, it's more than a dozen, not speech, actions that the former president
Like
allegedly took.
Like what?
I mean, where do I even
Like
start?
what? Tell me.
Asking
What
the
action?
Arizona speaker to interfere with ascertaining Arizona's
Asking.
electors. The Justice
Asking.
Department to
Asking
conduct.
is speech.
But
That's
any
the point.
any alleged
Asking is speech.
But any
It's not action.
almost all alleged criminal activity has to do
No.
with using words and his speech.
No,
and that
I want to talk about Trump's new lawyer and the Republican grift. And, you know, the apple just doesn't fall that far from the tree.
Saying that asking is action. No, asking is aspirational. Asking is not action. It's core free speech. The press should be defending free speech in this case.
Let's
What
talk.
was it called by? Oh my goodness, all the networks. Wow. All the networks.
Something else
speech
that
is
you've
the most
repeatedly
protected
said,
speech.
and that is that the former president
Anything.
ultimately asked his vice president only for a pause in the electoral count.
Right.
But it followed.
That was one of the things,
weeks.
ultimately. The final ask, right.
Okay.
The final ask in the ellipse speech was that, which
The
was
word-
President Trump was following the advice of his lawyer.
Okay. The word ultimately, I've heard you use many times. The word ultimately is doing a lot of
Yes.
work in that sentence. I know you're intentionally using the word ultimately.
After that, there was a peaceful transition of power. So that's how the Constitutional works.
Okay. What happened
Now,
on
one thing
January
that needs
6th
to be
was not
clear is
peaceful. I wanna-
Again, what President Trump was doing is within the reality and the realm of free speech. He's asking his vice president, what about taking this
Okay.
course of action? Ultimately, his vice president rejected all of
One
the
quick
proposals
question
that were
before
made.
I let you
But what's
go about the
critical-
trial.
But you have to let me finish. No. One quick response. What President Trump did not do is direct Vice President Pence to do anything. He asked him in an aspirational way. Asking is covered by the First Amendment.
What the Run.
Barbie wasn't adequately, I don't know, conservative for him, good for him.
Did you know he took that jacket from an actual Ken doll?
MAGA is full of shit. And they'll say anything for a buck. Donald Trump made millions and millions of dollars when he was president. Hell, Jared made a couple billion. Because that's what it's about. It's a grift. Just like Trump's liar.
Well, he believes he won, and the Biden administration will never be able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he didn't. But what he's being indicted for ultimately is following legal advice from an esteemed scholar, John Eastman, that he could petition his own vice president and ask his vice president to pause the voting on January 6th to give the states one last chance to certify or re-audit. That was the ultimate ask that President Trump made in his ellipse speech.
Many of the absentee ballots were fraudulent, and they knew that. And they didn't want to have a count of that. 200% of the registered voters in a district vote. What does that mean?
The only one who's actually created jobs.
He literally wrote the book on negotiating.
Trump's an outsider. Washington needs that.
I think he can make this country great again.
All you got to do to find out if I'm misleading you at all is to look at the lawsuits. That's the reason why he probably didn't have to go out and campaign.
They will say anything to get this fucker off. They'll say anything to stay in power. And if they can make a few dollars along the way, they'll say that.
Look, I think it's actually pretty simple. Over the last decade, what we've seen is large asset managers have mandated U.S. energy companies to produce less oil, to produce less natural gas. We're listing this new index fund, DRLL, on the New York Stock Exchange today. But what Strive is doing is delivering a new mandate, what I call the post-ESG mandate, to the U.S. energy sector to drill for more oil, to frack for more natural gas, to do whatever allows them to be most successful over the long run, without regard to political, social, cultural, or environmental agendas.
So when people ask why you support Donald Trump, you just tell them.
He's going to take our economy from here to here. I like that.
It's all about money. Everybody knows. For Donald Trump, it's all about money. It's always been about money. His entire life has been about money. From the $500 million that he inherited from his dad, all the way to the 5 or 6 times that he declared bankruptcy. This guy is a scum-sucking pig. And I think he found his lawyer.
In this respect, there were some preliminary discussions along the lines that Vice President Pence described, but the ultimate ask, which was done at the Ellipse, was to pause the voting for a period of time. Now, issues like this get discussed and thrashed about all the time, but the ultimate call made by President Trump was to ask for a pause.
Let's be clear on this point. It wasn't just that they asked for a pause. The president specifically asked me, and his gaggle of crackpot lawyers asked me to literally reject votes, which would have resulted in the issue being turned over to the House of Representatives, and literally chaos would have ensued.
President Trump was exercising
he
his
has
right.
said that.
And by the way, there's another.
He said the president asked him to violate the Constitution.
No, he's never.
He said the president asked him to violate the Constitution,
No, he never
which
said
is another way of saying he asked him to break the law.
He never said. No, that's wrong. That's wrong. A technical violation of the Constitution is not a violation of criminal law.
These people don't believe in the Constitution. A technical violation of the Constitution is a violation of the Constitution.
Not some cautious politician. He says what I'm thinking.
Everything that President Trump did was while he was in office as a president. He is now immune from prosecution for acts that he takes in connection with those policy decisions.
So you're going to try to.
The administration has not addressed that.
An interesting legal place you're going to go that will also create some constitutional questions.
Ballots are corrupt, and you're going to find that they are, which is totally illegal. It's more illegal for you than it is for them, because you know what they did and you're not reporting it. That's a criminal offense. All I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state.
Why did he threaten the Secretary of State with a criminal with a criminal charge?
That wasn't a threat at all. What he was asking for is for Raffensperger to get to the truth.
But for Republicans, violating the Constitution is perfectly fine.
And find these votes that were counted illegally. That was an hold on one second. That was an aspirational ask. He's entitled to petition even state government, but that doesn't involve an obstruction of federal government. But
they'll scream and scream about Donald Trump's civil rights being violated.
This election was conducted improperly. There are deficiencies here. I want to see if there are more than 10,000 votes or whatever the number was that were counted illegally. Once again, that's core political speech.
Bringing up a criminal violation is somehow speech. I mean, it's the way it sounds like somebody saying that's a mighty fine It's a mighty fine restaurant you have there. It'd be a shame if something happened to it.
I don't know what it is. I just like the guy.
But how many people are being violated every day by these folks? How many people are sending them money all the time?
What are you looking for in a partner?
They just have to be a conservative. Definitely someone that wants to have kids. I like an independent man. Personally, I like the alpha male vibe. I want a man who really loves his family. Definitely someone whose faith is important to them. For me, it's someone who actually wants to meet my parents.
And what's the biggest red flag when it comes to dating?
A Democrat. No Democrats. A Democrat. Can't be a Democrat. A Democrat. That's easy. A Democrat. No Democrats. So no.
The Right Stuff is a dating app. It was founded by Kayleigh McEnany's sister, and it was funded by Peter Thiel, the PayPal asshole, who is sort of ironic here because he is openly gay and the app doesn't allow same-sex matches. So apparently he's cool with funding a little light bigotry. The app was launched. It had some decent download numbers on day 1 and 2, and then it's just cratered. And there's a great Daily Beast story about The Right Stuff where there's a woman in D.C. saying, it's all Mitch McConnell staffers.
Hell, Donald Trump had to pardon a bunch of these fuckers because they were stealing from his own donors.
We have to do a lot more, and we got to start with Donald Trump.
What do you mean?
Well, he's got to be in there because he's going to go after the traffickers.
Do you think he understands that?
We were with him last night.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Bedminster, yes.
Yeah. Oh, so he's going to be moved to do something. I didn't know that.
Oh,
he wasn't here last night.
This is the new Moses. I mean, I'm still Jesus, but he's the new Moses. Pharaoh, let my children go free.
Legitimate movie. Right. Grossed $127 million, by the way. It's a movie about human trafficking, allegedly based on a true story. But it seems like a big part of the marketing is kind of folding this film into the QAnon narrative. I mean, the adrenochrome conspiracy theory says that Hollywood elites kidnap kids and extract chemicals from them by torturing them and like drink it to stay alive for longer. Like, it is batshit insane.
Yeah.
And he believes this stuff, and he talks about it publicly. He's on Steve Bannon's podcast talking.
Some of his ideas seem a little out there, but I like that he's looking towards solutions.
Staten Island grocery store workers facing assault charges, accused of slapping former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani. This surveillance video shows the encounter inside a ShopRite store. The worker appears to hit Giuliani on the back, prompting a reaction from the former mayor.
NYPD has said that this man was a 39-year-old suspect who approached Giuliani, slapped him in the back, and said, "What's up, scumbag?" Giuliani refused medical attention at the scene, and the 39-year-old was taken into custody with the NYPD recommending charges of second-degree assault.
Of course. Why wouldn't he? Trump steals from his donors. Why wouldn't he allow Steve Bannon to do it? Just like all the donors out there, this guy's stealing for. Because you bet your ass, if you sent money to the Donald Trump PAC, you paid for this fucking asshole.
Have you been able to find any evidence? I know the campaign paid for 2 studies that didn't find any evidence that would find enough fraud to overturn the election. Have you found any evidence yet? Because you have said you plan on relitigating the 2020 election, and nobody has found any evidence to back up Donald Trump's claims, and it's been 2.5 years.
We will be litigating the 2020 election because much of that has not been litigated. But what we do know, which is not in dispute under any circumstances, is that local state election officials changed the rules in the middle of the game. They sent out absentee ballots.
And all, hang on. Look, I understand. You've said this a few times.
You asked me a question, but you're not allowing me to finish.
Mr. Lauro,
no, you're not
all
allowing
of this
me
was
to finish.
litigated.
You're like the Biden.
No. Don't get politics with me.
You don't understand.
I've allowed you to filibuster a lot.
No.
I'm
getting legal with you.
All of this, Mr. Lauro, every single. Go ahead. You're trying to make you're trying to create a confrontation for no reason. But go ahead.
He hit me hard enough to knock me forward about like this. You know, elderly people die mostly from falls. This guy could have killed me.
I got hit on the back as if a boulder hit me. It knocked me forward a step or two.
All of a sudden, I feel a shot on my back. Like somebody shot.
Deranged. You know, that was the woman who was rubbing my back. The guy hit me so hard that she herself almost fell from the reverberation of it.
They're gonna make shit up. They're gonna say whatever they can. They are a grift. They are lying to you. And they're gonna sell you whatever snake oil they can.
Parents and grandparents, are you aware that your children's teachers are brainwashing them with socialist ideals? Help your kids resist the left's sinister agenda with Mike Huckabee's free kids guide to fighting socialism. This important free gift will help kids learn why socialism is bad for America and how they can help fight back. It's part of a free gift bundle that includes a magazine and video lesson. To learn more, just visit kidsstopsocialism.com. That's kidsstopsocialism.com.
You have to agree to the terms of the offer. And 30 days after they send you your free kids guide, they're going to start sending you new crap, including some video once a month for $20 and then a magazine every other week for $5.75. So you're accidentally signing up for $30 a month worth of charges for this free kids guide to fighting socialists.
He's definitely not PC.
They're gonna try to pass off whatever lies they can.
But the Biden administration doesn't want the press to know that. And I'm shocked that there aren't petitions now filed in the district court opposing what the Biden administration is doing.
And just like Donald Trump, on the way out the door, they're gonna get as much money as they can. I'm Zachariah, 11-star liberal. Y'all take it easy.
Why do I support Trump? 3 words. Good at business.
A message from Racists for Donald Trump.